Hi guys, it's Robin Ravenclaw again. Time for thoughts on healthcare confidence. So I've been kind of skirting around. Obviously, this is a channel and a vlog about my journey to mental health and wellness. Um, Mental wellness. And so I've been kind of skirting around the bigger things. We've talked about anxiety, which I have. We've talked about imposter syndrome, which everyone has. Um, but I haven't really talked about like what my journey entails and what I've been really going through. Part of that is because I don't know, this is the internet and I don't know how much I want to tell. And, you know, the internet is forever. That's kind of scary. Part of that is because I'm still going through a lot of things. I'm still learning a lot of things. And I guess this would be like, disclaimer, I'm not a professional. And so a lot of this is just my thoughts on these things and my experiences with them. But in no way do I want anyone to be like, well, Robin said, so therefore, let me not listen to my doctor or myself or whatever. Um, so I've been trying to figure out the best way to talk about these things in a more universal kind of way. And I think that one of the things I want to talk about, um, and one of the things that was really important for me, um, and will continue to be really important for me because it's a journey for sure, is being confident in your choices and your healthcare choices. And with some people, it's more difficult than others. And with what's going on in the world, some choices are more limited than others. So I want to be cognizant and I want to be um, honest about the fact that, like, I'm pretty privileged when it comes to healthcare. I have a job that gives me really good health benefits. It's a large part of why I have not struck off to become this, you know, freelance creator because I definitely need healthcare and the level of healthcare that I need um, pretty much requires me to have like a corporate job. Um, so that's something that I want to be cognizant about and want to be upfront about, and knowing that not everyone is able to have the kind of choices and to make the kind of choices that I've made. Um, anyway, with that long disclaimer, um, I recently left my doctor. I fired my doctor, and you can do that, guys. Like, you can fire them. Sometimes it's just not working out. I guess it's more not. It's less of a firing and more of a breakup. I guess it's like it's not me, it's you, but it's not you, it's me. There's something there. It's not working out. We should see other people. Um, and the reason why I came to the realization that that needed to happen, and I came to it pretty late in the process, and I kept sticking with it, even though I was getting more and more frustrated by what was happening. Um, was I didn't feel like my doctor was listening to me. And I spend a lot of money, even with my great health care, you know, with copays and um, taking time off to go to a doctor's appointment and the cost of medication and things. It's really important. And also just like the mental cost of sitting in a room and spilling my guts out to a professional stranger, which I totally think is valid. And if you can do it, you should do it, even whether or not you have a mental illness or not. Therapy is a good thing, I think, in general, across the board. And I didn't think that for a really long time. I thought that, like, only people with no real problems went to therapists, or people who were not mentally tough, went to therapist or something. I don't know. I had really messed up views about mental health for a really long time. And I think that also contributed to how hard it was and why it was so hard for me to um, break up with my doctor. So I think it's really important that you know yourself and you listen and trust yourself. So one of the things was that I was on a medication that wasn't working. And I would tell my doctor, this isn't working. I don't feel better. um, and her response would be, oh, well, let's up the milligrams. Let's up the medication. Let's get you on more of it. Um, and then I'd be like, okay. And then I'd take more of it, and it wasn't working, and it wasn't making me feel any better. And at certain points, it would make me feel really, really bad. Like, really, really bad. And I didn't trust myself that I knew better than she did. She was the one that went to school. She was the doctor. She had all of the letters behind her name and the plaque on the wall that said that she knew more about what was the best course of action for me than I did. But I think sometimes doctors are human, and sometimes they stick with the one thing and they are not as open-minded, or they are more cautious or less cautious, or there's a variety of reasons why doctors decide what they decide. But if you fundamentally don't agree or it doesn't feel right, then you need to trust your gut. So, I mean, that was one of the things that was holding me back. And then I also it was really hard to get a doctor and to get on a schedule that worked with my life and my job, and I got used to, and I had done all of the work of spilling all of my guts out to this one stranger, and I really didn't want to go through it again. Um, and the process is really difficult. Like, even with good healthcare, even with access to things and a good support system and the knowledge, and I'm I like to think that I'm smart, like, the intelligence to navigate the process. The process is still really, really hard. And so I can only imagine how hard it is if you don't have any one of that legion of things that you need to make it easier. It's darn near impossible. And then it becomes kind of paralyzing. So that was a reason why I was really hesitant. But then it became an issue where I started to resent my doctor. I started to resent the medicine I was on. So I started to self-medicate and do things that was less healthy. And it just, because of, it just became an untenable situation. And so I actually didn't break up with my doctor for someone new. I was like, I'm just going to do this by myself. We've reached the end of the usefulness of this thing. And then I very quickly was like, oh, no. I need to see a doctor. It's a thing that is really difficult to admit, but I may need to see a doctor for the rest of my life. I may have depression, anxiety, and now ADD. I'll probably definitely have ADD for the rest of my life, but I may have depression and anxiety for the rest of my life. I may have good periods and lower periods, and the hope is that I find some consistent middle. I'm not there yet, but that recognizing that and being honest with myself about that was also a process, and it was difficult. It was criteria difficult. But I found a doctor. I did the work. I asked people, which is a thing that you can do. You can ask your network of people. You can just be like, hey, do you know of a good doctor? ZocDoc, zocdoc.com was a huge resource for me. So I like definitely say that you should look into that as well. It'll give you doctors in your area that take your insurance, that are accepting new patients. You type in what you need, and then it gives you a list, and then you can actually make an appointment through that same thing, and you never have to go to a new website or whatever. It's all done within the thing. It's pretty nice. So I found a new doctor. I said, this medicine isn't working. He said, well, okay, let me, get to know you for a little bit. We'll keep things normal while we get to know each other, and then we'll reassess. And I've been in the process of getting off of this medication, and it has been rough. I have had suicidal thoughts that I've never had before. I have had these things called brain zaps, and guys, I don't wish them on my worst enemy. I don't wish them on he who must not be named, who lives in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't wish them on Vladimir Putin. I don't wish them on anyone. They suck, and they're real. I've had withdrawals, which made me feel like, what kind of medicine gives me withdrawals like I'm a drug addict? Because I was a drug addict, because the medicine is drugs. It's the same thing, with a fancier, more difficult to pronounce name. But slowly, this is paying off. I'm still on a path to a new medication. My doctor has said a couple of times that I look better. I look brighter. I have emotion. I have a range of emotions that I didn't have before, and I'm not even at the right dosage of this new medicine yet. I'm like barely even on this new medicine. It's mostly just because I got off of the old one. There are gene tests, and we took one, and we sat down and went through it, and like, sure enough, my body does not handle that medicine that I had been on for 3 years. More than 3 years. It doesn't handle it well. It doesn't work for me. And the whole point of this is just that at a certain point you have to decide to listen to your gut and listen to yourself, and know that just because someone has a bunch of letters after their name doesn't mean that they know what's best for you or what's working for you. And if you feel as though you're saying this isn't working, or I feel this way, and the reaction that you get, or the fix is not in line with what you want, you have the choice to break up with your doctor. You can use that choice. Like, you can do that. You don't have to be a doctor to know that something isn't working for your body and for you. So yeah, it's still a process. It's still really hard. And like, it's going to be really hard. And there might be at some point something else that comes up, and I have to figure out, like, okay, this doctor that I am now kind of in love with, because it's a very like hard and intimate and weird relationship to have with a stranger who you never see outside of this room for however long you see them, or however often you see them. There's a lot of trust involved there, and if you stop trusting your doctor, you need to break up with them, and you can do that. You don't have to be a doctor to know what's best for you and what's best for your health. So be confident, which is also really hard when you suffer from mental disorders, mental illnesses that make you not trust your brain and not trust your thoughts and not trust yourself really. But you at a certain point you just have to trust your gut and know that like things can be better. And this is probably going to be the next video that I talk about. Like, depression will trick you into thinking that you're fine. Depression will trick you into thinking that that is normal, and it's not normal. And you need to have a good support system who knows you really well and who you trust and who is confident and bold enough to be like, hey, guess what? You may think you're fine, but you're not fine. And sometimes it does take an external and outsider to say, girl, you're not doing well. Because you'll sit in your depression for a really long time thinking that you've got it all under control, and you don't. So yeah, so the point of this long thing and these thoughts are, if you've ever been in a position where you don't feel like your healthcare provider or your the person that you who has the expertise is useful, or it feels weird to say useful about a person, but if they're not helping you and you're not getting what you need from them, you need to be confident. You need to have the confidence to believe and trust your gut and make a change. And let me know if you've ever had to go through switching doctors and switching healthcare providers or switching medicines. We don't have to go into a bunch of detail, but let me know what that process was like for you, if it's similar to what my process has been. And, you know, let's be each other's person that says, hey, don't listen to depression. This is not normal. Things can be better. Life can be better. It does not need to be this hard to get out of bed. So those are my thoughts on healthcare confidence. Let me know your thoughts. I will be here on the YouTube. There's the comment section. I will be there. I will be here. Let me know. Let's talk it out. And then I'll also be on Twitter, where I always am, at Robin_Ravenclaw, ROBYN_Ravenclaw. And that's today's ramble. See you in 2 weeks.